A nigga like me, man, I love the game. I love the hustle, man. I be feeling like one of them ball-playing niggas, you know? Like Bird or Magic or something. Yeah, you know, a nigga got dough. A nigga could leave the league. But if I leave, the fans still gonna love me, man? I get love out here in Harlem, man. I done sold coke on these streets, man. Hash, weed, heroin. As long as niggas is feeling it, a nigga like me can hustle it. That's my gift in life, eh? You know? What? The fuck you laughing at, B?
You, man. Funny, man. You a hustling motherfucker, man. For real, baby. You fucking killing me, man.
Well, you know me, baby.
Okay, so let me first say I have been a fan of Umar Johnson's for a while. I listened to a lot of his videos or watched a lot of his videos from years back. I remember, he's a real insightful guy when it comes to education, dealing with what black kids deal with within the education system and all that. So I'm cool with Umar Johnson along those lines, but this is my thing. When it comes to Umar Johnson, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. I just, when I see people, I've listened to a few YouTubers and people that are smart and insightful guys, right? They'll say a lot of different things about Umar and try to defend him in certain instances. And I can't help but think of, pastors that I've seen, the moment they do anything that's not becoming, they're thrown under the bus. And they say, well, the guy doesn't have to be perfect. When it comes to Umar Johnson, he doesn't have to be perfect. He can, go out and sleep with strippers. He can go out. And I know people, well, that's his business. He can do what he want to do. True, but he was lying, saying he was celibate. Look, this is the thing, man. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I want to see the school get built. I do. But at the same time, I just think the level of, like, just dick riding that I see for this guy is just amazing. I mean, really, I've never seen this level of defense for a guy. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I see a lot of brothers that are, like, fans of his. And when people are fans, it's just like for example, LeBron James, right? When you try to tell the truth about certain individuals, people defend them. And that's been the story for black people for probably the whole time we've been here. Like, this is the thing. I can separate the two. The school is good. I have never heard anyone hate on I ain't gonna say never. Maybe some stupid feminist. I don't listen to a lot of these female YouTubers that say little stupid pro-feminist, black feminist points and stuff like that. Maybe they exist. I don't know. I can't sit there for hours on end and listen to all these different females talk. But this is the thing. When it comes to the whole Umar Johnson beef issue with Tariq Nasheed, people need to understand this. Like, as far as him being reprimanded by the state of Pennsylvania for his losing his license, I don't have anything to say about it, quite frankly. This is the thing, man. Like, what he says is one thing. 'Cause he said a lot of controversial things, quote unquote controversial, that I actually agree with. When it comes to homosexuality, when it comes to black feminism, I agree with him wholeheartedly. But we have got to learn how to separate, like, a person's ideals from their character. And I'm sorry, his character has been found wanting. Now, I'm not perfect. Please don't mistake what I'm saying, because we as black people, when we hear the word judge or we hear someone make a judgment call, we cringe and we say, oh my God, he's judging. Well, look, first of all, I'm supposed to judge. If I go out here and steal, it's okay to say I stole. If I kill, it's okay to say I murdered someone. If I lie, it's okay to say I'm a liar. And I'm sorry, this guy's character is lacking. And I honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I don't feel like he deserves to be in charge. Do I think it's a great, valiant point or honorable thing that he's trying to do with the school? Of course. Do I condone the school? Of course. But if black people are so, it's as if he's the only person that can do it. I'm gonna give you a good example. Creflo Dollar, right? When he wanted that $65 million jet, I was sick to my stomach when I heard that he wanted that, right? He said, well, I'm trusting God through faith. I'm like, in one of my points, I talked to one of my friends, and he said, he made a good point. He's like, these people act as though Creflo Dollar is the only person that can go to Africa, as if God can't raise someone else up in Africa or someone in here that can go to Africa through a regular, $600 plane ticket and go and work and do the work of God in Africa, if that's what you're really saying you want to do. The issue is the cause. It's not one individual. The struggle is bigger than Umar Johnson. The struggle is bigger than one person. It has to be. And so I'm gonna give you a great example. I got a friend of mine. He has a school. We went to high school together, Christian brother, and he started a school called Valiant Cross Academy. And Valiant Cross Academy is this great, school where he teaches young black boys how to be men. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm just kind of sad when I see people going above and beyond to defend Umar Johnson on just, I'm sorry, straight up fuckery. Like, I'm sorry. That's what it is. I got a friend of mine, check out his video right quick. Anthony Brock, me and him went to school together. Good brother. This is what he's doing.
We try to get them exposed to as much as possible here, so they're visiting colleges a lot, quite frequently, and just getting them exposed to a wide variety of things.
But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me.
One of the challenges, and definitely one of the reasons we founded this school, is because of the minority graduation college readiness rate. I think it's going to take enough people to be mad and upset about the problems that some of our young men are facing. We take 30 scholars in a year, and our goal is to become a 6th through 12th grade school. We just tell our young men that they were perfectly planted in the communities that they live in so that they can make an impact on those communities.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Mr. Ross.
Great day.
Great day.
Great day.
Great day.
2 claps.
I'm very proud to say at Valiant Cross Academy that we do not have to deal with bullying. One reason is because of our smaller class sizes and because of the interaction. We like to manage with relationships here at Valiant Cross Academy and teach them how they're all connected and that they're really brothers and that they're going to do this and walk this life thing out together. I'm just very proud to say that bullying does not happen here at Valiant Cross Academy, and I always say not on my watch. Bullying is not going to take place on my watch.
And I saw the 10 mark too, your grade went up.
Academically, we're seeing growth. We take a series of benchmark testing, and we're seeing a lot of academic growth. Our college readiness rates are around 4% and 5%. We definitely want to teach our young men that it's not an achievement gap that has been placed on them. We believe that's a label. We believe that it's opportunity gap. If you take a young man out of any community, any home, and you give him the same exposure opportunities that other young men have or other young ladies have, then I think they're going to definitely excel at the same rate. Any opportunity that I can provide for these young men, I just feel called and led to do. And this has been a blessing to my family and just a blessing to the Montgomery community. One of the biggest challenges going forward with Valiant Cross Academy, of course, is going to be always funding and sustainability. And so we're always looking for funding sources, ways to keep this program afloat, because we want our young men to get a very high quality education. We want them to be at the forefront of technology, of coding, and just be ready for the 21st century.
never desired to be a teacher. When I went to school, it was physical therapy, sports medicine. That's all I ever wanted to do. However, you know, they say when you tell God your plans, he laughs. So I guess he might have chuckled just a little bit. But he led me down the path of education and showed me where the need was great, and not just pouring in educationally, academically, but being able to minister.
It's not a time that we don't kind of go without talking about Christ. There's often times, because we're always playing music in the background as we're teaching, that a song will come on and the Spirit of the Lord will kind of take over, and we just have to pause what it is that we're talking about or what we're discussing or what we're covering in the lesson, and we'll have what we call a praise break. And we'll just take that moment and we'll all sing songs to God, we'll talk, you know, we'll pray, and we'll go deeper into the lyrics of the song and what it means and how it's touching our heart and changing our lives.
My name is Michael Jernigan, and I attend the 6th grade class at Valiant Cross Academy. Valiant Cross has made me a successful scholar by motivating me and pushing me to the limits, and if I feel like I can't do anything, they'll motivate me to make me feel like I can do it.
It's not where you're from, it's where you're going. If we can direct these scholars to a positive lifestyle, it don't matter where you're from. With the help of God, you can do anything.
The classrooms are not as big as in a public school, so you get more one-on-one time with your teacher. And we have programs throughout the day that allows our excelling students to excel, and other students, we can still get them and do more one-on-one, more tutoring, so that they can begin to excel and get on the level with the excelling students.
Here at Valiant Cross Academy, we teach our scholars to rise above with honor, to rise above with discipline, to rise above with excellence, to rise above with integrity, and most of all, to rise above with love.
I am Darian Singleton. I am in the 7th grade. I am the president of the exhibit booth team, which is a part of the robotics team at Valiant Cross Academy. The world does not need Superman. It needs supernatural men.
Men that will learn from their youth.
To let go of self. To let the power of the Holy Spirit raise them to new heights.
At Valiant Cross Academy, our teachers teach us the necessary skills to succeed in life. My name is Alonzo Arrington, and I'm in the 7th grade, and I attend Valiant Cross Academy.
When we first met these young men, they were timid and pretty much hopeless and not confident, to now just being confident in the Lord, grades excelling, loving on each other, and believing in their heart that they can be anything that the Lord wants them to be in this world and make a difference in their home, in their community, in this world.
We'll rise above honor. We'll rise above discipline. We'll rise above integrity. We'll rise above excellence. We'll rise above love. We are Valiant Cross Academy. In this place, young men rise above.
Now, as you can see, he's out here in the streets. Why isn't there a national? Why aren't brothers and sisters sending this brother some money? The main reason is because Umar Johnson has a mouthpiece. Umar Johnson is cool. Umar Johnson has the you know, he can speak well. He's a great orator. That's why. That's the only difference. You think this? Look, I love my homeboy Anthony. Do you think he's the only black guy in the country that has a school for black boys? Do you think that is the only school for black boys? We done spent millions of dollars, sent Umar Johnson millions of dollars. Now he's talking, if you go back and look at the video, the comment he made, people aren't really peeping this. I said this 3 years ago when he announced that he wanted that school, and then the stripper scandal, well, it was about 2 years ago, when the stripper scandal broke. I said I would not be surprised if he takes the money and runs to Africa and builds a school for African children where he spends 10% of what he got and the rest of it goes in his pocket. You know, that's what I think is probably gonna happen. That's why when he mentioned the video about his meeting over his doctor, doctor degree, license, whatever you call it, he mentioned Africa. Why? Because he's saying that, well, I'm gonna push for the school until they stop me. He's planning, he's laying the groundwork now to run. And I'm not, you know, my thing is, if I send you money and you're telling me that this is what you're gonna do, then damn it, that's what you need to do. And if you're asked, you should not snap and go off on people and call people reactionaries and insult people for asking you basic questions. What's going on? Can we see a plan? Look, there are tons of people. If I was in his position, there are tons of people across the not just the conscious community, but the black community, because I don't even like that term, conscious community. I really don't. Even Tariq Nasheed said he doesn't like that term being called conscious, because it's just been bastardized. It really has. But there are people within the black community with all types of credentials and skills that would be perfect to go out here and help this brother implement this school for the most economical way. I mean, he could do it cheaply, right? But he doesn't want any help. He doesn't want, because he's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, because he's Big Papa. Now, whenever someone pisses him off, he sits and makes a 45-minute video cursing and insulting people, talking about fighting. This is the guy I'm gonna teach, that's gonna lead and be an example for my children. Do you think would you want your son to think that in America, in this day and age, that the best way to handle your problems is to go and fight, physically fight? You're a grown ass man in your 40s going to fight two men in their 40s fighting. This is, now you're a doctor. You're Dr. Umar Johnson. And you want, and I know some of y'all like, well, shit, man. Some guys will probably have a lower level of thinking. They'll say, well, shit, nigga, say something. You need to go meet him. And I'm like, cool. You can handle your problems like that once or twice. One day you're gonna run up on a white boy or somebody, and it's gonna be another Trayvon Martin situation, or you're gonna wind up in jail, or you can look, man. That is not. Look, I'll be the first. I ain't gonna I ain't with nobody being a bitch or a punk or nothing like that. But it comes a point in time when you're a grown ass man that you got to step away from the ego shit and just start going ahead and saying, hey, maybe it's not the best way for me to handle issues by going and threatening to fight someone just because they dare to disagree with me or say something I don't like. Umar Johnson, this is about the third, fourth time he's gotten into it with people, and he turns into a low-level thinking person. I'm sorry. Getting an education does not make you brilliant. But it's almost as if people are so busy protecting adults that they forget to fight for the children. If it's really about the children, if black people are so concerned that they want to throw $1 million at a guy who has a school, why not throw it at this brother here, Valiant Cross Academy? Why not throw it at him? Why not? You think that this is the only one? You never heard of it. Probably most of you guys that aren't from Montgomery never heard of this school. You see what I'm saying? But he's instilling Christian principles, so I guess he's not woke enough for people to, because, you know, my boy, he's a Christian, so I guess, you know, maybe he's not cool enough. I don't see a lot of people, you know, behind it, because, now I ain't saying he's doing okay, but what I'm saying is it's not the end thing to do. But I'm sorry, man, like, people are defending Umar Johnson and saying no one cares about black boys. Those are two separate issues. Caring about black boys, creating a school, doing what's right by black boys so that we can thereby have a strong community, because if your men are weak, so is your community. Most people I know, 90% of the people I've seen, or even more, maybe 95, 96% agree with that point. They just don't think that a guy who, anytime someone pisses him off, he makes a video, a guy who's lying saying he's celibate, a guy who's immature and childish, who handles things like a damn 5-year-old, should not be in the forefront. I don't think that's wrong. I'm sorry. I don't think that's wrong. Well, man, he doing something good. What you doing? Like, that's the level of the logic that black people have. That's our logic, right? Because he's doing something good, he can do whatever the fuck he want to do. He's a sacred cow in our community. The word sacred cow comes from Hinduism in India. Cows are sacred. So you got, in situations, cows can go through people's houses, eat their furniture, do whatever. But because it's a cow, it's sacred. It cannot be touched. It can come and drop doo-doo all in your house, do whatever. It's sacred. It's a cow, you know. That's Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson, because he's sacred, because Umar Johnson has gotten to a level of being sacred because he dared to use his gift and say some good things about black boys and that we need this and we need that, and we all agree with that. So now he's untouchable. Now whenever he does something stupid, people defend him. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Look, I'm all for, but Obsidian made a point, and I agreed with him on most of the video, but except the part we kept, saying I don't care about his flaws. I'm like, okay, well, that's him. Me, I'm a little different. Do you need to be an angel? No, you don't need to be an angel. If he had just said he wasn't celibate, and if he kept it a buck about doing what he was doing, if he wasn't out here making videos, faking on the damn, he's a phony. I mean, this dude is picking up the phone, faking like he's talking, like he gonna get some goons in Detroit to go hurt somebody. And this is the guy that you want your children to look up to and imitate. This is how fucked up, excuse my French, we are as a people. This is how messed up. We're so desperate for something good that anybody that comes along can come along and as long as he's saying the right things, we'll fight with them to the end. We'll pay for the church fund, Now, are there pastors out there that are doing what they're supposed to do? Yeah. Look at my boy. Look at my homeboy Anthony right here. Look at what he's doing. Are there people out there that are gonna go to bat for this brother? Are there people out there? I mean, that's the thing. Like, we'll throw our monies behind the wrong stuff. We just will. We're throwing our money behind this guy who's probably leaning towards building the school in Africa. I heard he mentioned that before, that he thought about building it in Africa. Well, what's going to happen to your boys and girls over here in America if the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is built in, Ghana or Uganda or South Africa? What are we going to do? Huh? White supremacy and racism will gobble them up, right? Your kids are going to get gobbled up, but the kids in Africa are going to be straight. That's what's probably going to wind up happening. Because he's probably going to, if he's telling the truth and he loses his doctorate or whatever, he's going to use that as an excuse to run to Africa. And because he has a good mouthpiece, I'm going to tell you something. You remember Cat Williams had a thing, The Pimp Chronicles, a couple of years, about almost 10 years ago. And Cat Williams made a point, and it was a joke, but it was funny because he said, the government is like the pimps and the voters are the prostitutes, And he said, somebody come in, hey, look here, we finna take over Atlanta. I need you to go out and give all the heads you can. We finna take over Atlanta. That's the pimp, right? And the government is the pimp. And Umar Johnson in this case is the pimp. And black people, I don't know how we gonna do it, but I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna give my money. That's us. Sometimes, man, black people, it's okay to ask questions. That's logical. Okay? It's not like the bank where you have to show credit and 25% down and you got to do. Look, we're not asking him for all those humps to cross all those obstacles, but at least he should have there by now should be a plan. Now, if there is, I stand corrected. Maybe I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. I haven't even seen a plan. And by now, he's supposed to have a hard timeline. August is the time when the school is supposed to open August of this year because it's 2018 now. So that's the thing. If it doesn't open, it's perfect timing. They messing with his license, so to speak, supposedly, whatever. He's gonna blame that and say, well, I'm gonna keep, because he made a point, I'm gonna keep trying until they stop me. Like, so how they gonna stop you and you got the money? And then I heard one guy say, well, a lot of times, because the excuses, I've never seen this much room for error. Not even with pastors. Like, I just have never seen this much excuse making. Because when it comes to this guy, I mean, look, I like some of the stuff Tariq Nasheed does. Some stuff I don't like. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I got like a love-hate relationship. Sometimes he does things. I'm like, that's a good point. Sometimes he says stuff like, man, you over exaggerating white supremacy. It's a lot of other things you could do. But at the end of the day, all Tariq, and for those of you that don't know, the reason I'm making this video, or why I started this video, Tariq Nasheed had a fan I don't even like saying fan of a guy like that, but at the end of the day, he has a fan or a supporter or whatever. And the guy asked him on Ustream, you know, hey, I gave my money to Umar Johnson. I'm starting to have doubts. He hasn't given any plans. He hasn't given anything. He's keeping it all close. Nobody knows but him, pretty much, right? And I'm just trying to understand, you know, maybe I lost my money. All Tariq said was, wait, man, if you feel that way, just chalk it up to the game. That sparked a 25-minute, 30-minute, whatever, 45-minute rant from Umar Johnson in a hotel room cursing, going off, talking about he going to fight Tariq Nasheed. And of course, Tariq, you know, responded in kind, which is what I expect. But you got to understand, these guys are approaching 50. Think about this for a second. I mean, I know, we as black people, we got to grow and mature as a people. We got to stop thinking we need to resort to some street shit just because somebody disagrees with us. And that's where we are. That's where we are with Tariq and all this drama. Not Tariq, with Umar. Like, this is the second time in a year that he's pretty much jumped out there and made an ass out of himself. You know, and I'm tired of it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the stripper situation, it wasn't about him sleeping with the strippers, because it was a couple of chicks he was hitting, right? But it wasn't a couple. I heard he was hitting a bunch of them all over the country. That's him. That's his business. It's not even about that, right? Don't hold pastors to the same standard, though. Don't. You can't. Don't get mad when a pastor say we're gonna build a church and it took 20 years to get the building fund up. Don't do that. Don't get upset. Don't get mad if the pastor's sleeping with the congregation. You know, don't do that. You can't. See, you're going to hold a pastor to a different standard. You got to hold him to the same standard. To me, I say hold both of them to a standard. If you're going to hold the pastors to the standard, okay, cool. Hold Umar Johnson to the standard. If you can't show, like, one of the things about spirituality, because when people start talking about consciousness, you're talking about spiritualness, your third eye and all that mess, right? So when you start talking about being spiritual, well, one of the true traits of one who is spiritual is self-control, is being able to rise above a storm. Like, you know, that's spirituality. Like an eagle, for example, like I always likened it to an eagle. An eagle, when he sees a storm approaching, goes and rides the turbulence of the winds of the storm. He rises above the storm. He flies over it like an airplane. I've actually seen birds flying above. I flew over some storms before and seen eagles and birds flying over it, right? That's how eagles are. So when you see the storm, when you see situations, you block it. Just like how the Bible talks about, you know, we use the shield of faith to quench the fiery darts of the enemy. That's what I'm talking about. Self-control. Whether you're a Christian or not, whatever you are, if you can't, like, you're so insecure that if a guy says chalk it up to the game, you fly off of the handle like that. I'm sorry, Tariq wasn't wrong to say what he said. He wasn't. And I'm sorry, just because he says he want to make a school for black boys, it just forever can just do whatever the hell he wants to do. He can act a fool. He can sit up and front and flex. He is a phony. I'm sorry. He's a phony. I'm sorry. Like the brother sitting up there. No, it's all right, family. I got it. Bring, right in his face. That was hilarious. Then he goes and threatens to sue anybody that posts a picture or the video of him up there acting a fool because he was embarrassed. Then the next day he puts out an apology video where he goes on a 3-minute rant, apology, and then he spends another 45 minutes saying everybody's jealous of him and they're hating on him. Like, when are we gonna say enough is enough? When are we gonna say, look, dude, like, you're not quality, you don't have the character. You have shown that your character is not up to snuff to be out here talking about leading young men. Because that's exactly what he's trying to do. When you say you're gonna start a black school for young boys, you are talking about leading young men. And if you're gonna do that, I'm sorry. You can have your own little vices, you can drink, you can even have all the women, you can do whatever you want to do. But when it comes to what you're going to portray, the image that those kids are going to see. When I was in school, we had a black principal. right? And I don't know nothing about that dude. I don't know anything about him. He was black. But when he was at school, he was on the up and up, right? That was it. But this guy, if one of the teachers said something, is he gonna drop a video cursing the teacher out? Is he gonna go into school? He said he's taking applications at FDMG or whatever academy. Is he gonna sleep with, if you got a fat ass and you're a school teacher, you go in there and try to teach, is he gonna try to sleep with the teacher? Is he gonna be sleeping with 2 or 3 of the teachers? This is the fuckery that we're about to get into, that we're about to embark upon, because we only see Umar Johnson as the only savior. We have a messianic complex. We have this, he's gonna be the Messiah that leads us out of our wilderness, like he's Moses or something, like we're in Egypt in bondage, and Umar Johnson or some conscious guy is gonna lead us out of the bondage of Egypt that is America and racism and white supremacy. No, it's gonna be done on an individual level. You are the answer, people. Okay, you are, not Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson can talk. That's what he's good at. He has a gift of gab. You know how many black people I know that I've met with the gift of gab that use it for evil? They use it to go out here and manipulate people and get them to do any and everything they want them to do? No, the answer, the way black people are going to be saved in America is by themselves doing what they're supposed to do. You are the answer. You take your money. If you see Umar Johnson is full of it, which is pretty much clear to me, that if you still sending money to that guy, I mean, good luck. That's all I got to say. Because it's probably, if he does open the school, fine. I will be all for it, because guess what? We can use that. See, I'm not hating. It's a separation. It's almost like I can't talk about the stupid shit he doing. Like, it's almost like you have to ignore that. No, I'm tired of that. That's the problem. The black community, there was what's his face? Obsidian talked about it today. He said, man, black politicians are by far the most corrupt. Statistics show that. They're way more corrupt than even the white politicians. Black leadership in general we have been plagued with like charlatans and people that are just hirelings that come in just to live and perk themselves up and be millionaires while the people suffer. It's the same way in Africa. I mean, I can almost, this is the thing. I have to kind of sit back and say, I mean, we're useful idiots. We're begging for it. And I'm sorry, the dick sucking with Umar Johnson has to stop. I'm sorry. Let Umar Johnson stand on his own merit. He is not standing on his own merit. All Tariq said was, hey man, chalk it up to the game, and you drop a 45-minute video cursing and threatening to fight the guy? This dude is unstable. He has no accountability. He's sitting in a hotel room. He has nobody sitting there saying, hey man, that's probably not a good image. That's probably not good for your image. You're trying to lead young boys. Young kids are looking up to you. It's probably not good for you to drop a video and do this. Why? Because guess what? He's going to be at school next week, and some kid's going to say something to disagree with him in class, and he's going to want to fight the guy, or it might lead into some street shit. You just like the damn folks in Chicago that feel like they got to kill a nigga because he disrespected him. You stepped on my Jordans. It's really that simplistic. And why do we see? This is the thing, man. We gotta not be what we've been labeled for the last 400 years we've been in this country. We've been labeled as animals, animalistic, right? We've been labeled as monkeys, ignorant. We are genetically inferior. Go read the comments under the Black IQ video I did. Look at the level of white trolls that's coming into that. They hate the fact that I dared to stand up and defend black intelligence and say that black people are not just a bunch of, ignorant fools. Black people have some intelligence, that black people are just as good as whites in certain instances. It's not the IQ test. And what I said about the IQ, go look at the comments. This is the problem. You really have a problem when you are really becoming a self-fulfilling, or you commit a self-fulfilling prophecy and live out what they say you are. Not that you should be overly concerned about what others think, but when you are an animal, when you can go from a doctorate with a PhD, a doctor with a PhD, educated, can speak eloquently to a 2-bit street nigga who has the act as though you have the IQ of a damn, dog, and you're ready to fight to the death. Because I'm gonna tell you something. This is where you see, when you threaten somebody, you really have to be careful. Maybe it's me. If I issue a threat, I gotta be ready to back it up. That's me. That's why I don't like being a thug. I'm not a thug. I don't claim to be one, because with thugs, they'll say something. Damn it, you gotta back it up. If you say you gonna jump, you say you gonna whoop this dude and this and that. Good example. Tommy said some stuff, and then Tariq showed up trying to fight him, and that shit could have got real bad. That shit could get bad. I know people like, well, it's just a fight. No, people don't just fight anymore. Like, you gotta understand that, and you're teaching young. That's the principle that you're teaching young boys. He made some comments about Tariq, as far as him, using the GoFundMe as a hustle to get money, and then he's going and using white Jews. Made a good point. I feel a certain way about Tariq, but this isn't about Tariq. Like, and certain people say, well, you don't understand business. Like, I'm sorry. There's no way. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Umar Johnson has got to be, like, just somebody has to at least hold him accountable. There are millions of people. I ain't gonna say millions, but there are at least hundreds of African-centered schools in this country that we can send our money to, that we can support. Just stop it. Stop it with this Umar Johnson. A lot of people, Umar Johnson probably, if he really was an upstanding guy and really was like a pillar of the community and doing great things as an individual, wasn't out here dropping those diss videos and calling himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism and putting his finger up to his head like he Malcolm X, and calling himself bragging about being the descendant of Frederick Douglass, which I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe, I don't know. Don't really care. But if he wasn't such a rock star with it, he probably raised $4 or $5 million. He's probably turned off 75-80% of black people with his antics. This is hurting the children at the end of it. If it's really about the children, tell him to shut the fuck up. Excuse my French. Tell him to shut up. Tell him to stop dropping videos in hotel rooms, cursing for 45 minutes, threatening to fight people. If it's really about the black, because when people say you really don't care about the kids, he at least he tried to do something good. Well, if you're trying to do something good, have some self-control. This is what I talk about playing the game. Black people don't understand that term. Look, it's a game. Even with whites, I said the same thing, but with blacks, especially with blacks, do I drop a video and curse out people within the conscious community that have a following, like a Tariq Nasheed? What's that intelligent? Tariq Nasheed has done Hidden Colors. For all intents and purposes, most black men get their morality from Tariq Nasheed. A lot of them do. They don't get their morality from the word of God or even the Quran. Most of them don't. Their morals and what they value, their value system, comes from people like Tariq Nasheed. Is that intelligent to cuss this dude out for 45 minutes? That I wouldn't do that. And even though I have my own opinions of Tariq in certain instances. Look, I was talking about this a while ago in one of my videos. I said if I was Colin Kaepernick, I would have went to First Take. I would have invited a Tariq Nasheed and Dr. Claude Anderson, and we'd have talked about economics. I don't even like Tariq Nasheed like that. I would go get a Umar Johnson because I know he has a mouthpiece. That's how you use people. You use the situation to benefit. If it's really about the kids, is it about the kids or is it about his ego? Because if it's about the kids, he wouldn't have did that. Given the climate of the conscious community, he said himself a while ago that he wanted to drop, he wanted to have a tribunal with the elders, and he wanted everybody to show up because there's too much mess in the conscious community. And you're gonna go drop 2 videos cursing for 45 minutes, dissing people like Sarah Seti, who, truth be told, has a grassroots following over this country that like no other. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna say like no other, but his grassroots following is strong. I know brothers that swear by Sarah Seti. Whether he's right or wrong and what he's saying is of little consequence. These people love Sarah Seti. You got to learn to be politically intelligent. This is the guy who's going to run a school now. So if you really want the school, why would you curse out Tariq Nasheed? Like, I'm tired of it. I don't like this nigga. This, like, because it's about you. It's not about the kids. If it's about the kids, I wouldn't do the things, I wouldn't do half the shit he does. I would be out there talking about Big Papa this and Big Papa that and bragging on, you know, I'm the most requested and I'm this and I'm that and I'm a rock star and I'm, you know, all these niggas are jealous of me and they're haters and they want to be me. Like, is that about the kids? Or is that about your damn oversized ego? I'm sorry, man. And people, I'm sorry, we got to learn to distinguish from a good, valiant, you know, nice, great, you know, honorable thing and effort and ego and you being the center of attention and it's all about you and you thinking that you are the greatest. And I mean, this dude literally in almost all his videos, a lot of his videos, he says it. Go read his timeline. You ain't got to take my word for it. Go read his time. Look at what he calls himself. Go back. You know, that maggot bitch. That if she stopped me from this, like, this is what I thought the black woman was God. I thought she's a black queen. She's conscious. You said she's the conscious stripper. But she did something you don't like. She turned into a maggot bitch. Really? Because she told the truth, which you really were sleeping with her when you were on a show saying that you weren't and saying that you were celibate. And you look at the text message you sent and you said nobody's going to believe you. You know, because because of your status and who you are. Really? This is the problem. Like, I'm just like, damn, we've lost our way. We really have. We've lost our way. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. You ain't got to like it. When we were in the church, we were better off as black men. We were. Our families were together. Even if you disagree with the Bible and think it's a whatever, I don't care. When black men were in the church, the black community flourished. I'm sorry. When we left the church, the black community is going to the toilet because it's all in chaos. Because we're at a point where a guy can go and drop a 45-minute video cursing and threatening to fight a guy, and he still has a higher moral ground than my friend in most black men's mind. If you compare my homeboy Anthony against this guy, against Umar Johnson, 75% of black men would still support Umar Johnson over my friend because he's a Christian. That's the only difference. Other than that, I mean, my friend's a good, I know him, good dude. But they'll give Umar more respect because it's conscious. Why? Because it's cool. Why? Because we're in the age of social media. Why? Because people in his community, they pat him on the back. They give you likes. They give you all this stuff, and it inflates your ego to a point where it's just untouchable. And I think we're really doing our children a disservice by supporting this guy. If you want to support black kids in education, do that. Those are two separate things. It's almost like we're being forced to swallow Kool-Aid with poison in it, like Jim Jones. Like, you know, like, okay, yeah, I like Tropical Punch Kool-Aid just like anybody else, but I mean, does anyone see this cyanide they put in it? Does anybody see the arsenic that's being poured into the Kool-Aid with the sugar? Like, it's poisonous. Yeah, it tastes good, but it's not good. And if we can go and find some Kool-Aid with just water, sugar, stirred up, I'd rather drink that. And there are tons of people throughout this country that have black schools, African-centered schools, that are on this ego trip, that aren't all about themselves. And I'm sorry. I mean, that was not a smart, intelligent move. He's not a well thought out individual. And this is the guy who you guys have entrusted with millions of your dollars. I hope he does build a school, because at the end of the day, it really is about the kids. I want it to be about the kids. That's what it should be about. I made videos about black human capital. I believe that black human capital, we need more of that. And when he talked, he made a lot of points about increasing human capital. He didn't say that, but he was talking about learning maritime, law and learning things, agriculture, things that black people can benefit from. I'm all for that. Those are great things. I never have a problem with what he said in that. But I can't then turn around and judge what he does? Yes, I can. I'm sorry. We got to get over ourselves with this. I think we've gotten so postmodern in our thinking. These white Jews have programmed black people's minds so bad. We don't even see it. We don't even see it. But they have programmed us to the T. You hear me? Black people do not know how to identify right and wrong in most instances. We don't. We'll sit there and defend this type of fuckery that this dude is doing. Because that's exactly what it is, fuckery. There's no way you should defend that, man. This dude showed his ass. He's showing his ass. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to defend him. It is about the black boys. It is. That's why that shit was stupid what he did. You trying to start a school and you gonna go out here and cuss out a guy who gets over 1 million listeners on a podcast per week from 90% of the people that probably listen to Tariq, listen to you. So now you done started a war with a guy who has a following who's very powerful within the conscious community, whether he wants to be called conscious or not. He is. This guy done 4 documentaries and you going in. True enough, there's a lot of people that say that point about Tariq and the money and this. It is what it is. I see he has a valid point with that. Some people agree, some people don't. I'm not going to even get into this. It's not important right now. But the level of lack of just strategy, tact that he has exhibited on numerous occasions shows a lack of character. And when you look at someone's credit score, when you go to borrow money, that's what they call it. They say it's really a look at your character. Who are you as a person? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Now it's been 3 years he hadn't built the school, right? Now he's talking about leaving. He's mentioning going to Africa. That's kind of dangerous. But my thing is this. I kind of saw it coming. I said this 2 years ago. I remember when he did the stripper thing, I was through. I said, nah. When he did that, I was like, nah, man, this dude fronting, man. I see too many holes. Why you care about who he fucking, man? He can do what he want to do. Okay. True. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to say that. But he was lying. Don't you see that as a problem? He was putting on a facade, talking about he's celibate. I mean, don't you see that as a problem? I did. Just the lying part of it. If he hadn't just mentioned nothing about his sex life and that girl, she wouldn't have had no ammunition had he not lied. What gave it us the scandal legs was the way he lied about it. And the way he handled the scandal really damaged his reputation. If you go back, there were years ago where I think him and I don't know if it was Polite or somebody spoke with one of his baby moms, and she, they tried to pull him in the House of Consciousness tried to pull him into some mess. And I actually liked the way he handled it. He's like, man, I'm not getting into that. I'm just out here trying to really help. This is when he at first probably started getting a little steam in the community and was going around doing the lectures. And I respected that brother for that. I was like, I like the way he handled that, because he didn't, fall into the fray and start cursing and going back and forth with these guys going in, he didn't do that. He just stayed in his lane. I respected him for that. And then the stripper scandal broke. I was like, okay. But I still was like, okay, well, if he gets the school get the money for the school in spite of the stripper scandal and does it, cool. Is he gonna probably try to sleep with the teachers? Yeah. Is he probably gonna, his arrogance is to no end. I mean, it just was. But at the end of the day, I was like, it's still a good thing to have a school, right? Then he has a sour suit and Seti problem, right? And I said, man, this dude is probably not the best guy to do it. He's just not. And there are other people, that you can support. Go to Valiant Cross, find it on the internet, send that brother some money. If you really want to support black boys, send him some money. Let's see how many people are really putting their money where their mouth is. Let's see. Or they want to send their money on the GoFundMe account with the conscious cool guy with the great mouthpiece. Look, man, we've been pimped 100 times as black people, and I'm tired of it. So, I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing us fall prey to fuckery. So that's it. I just wanted to get that out there, man. I had to say that, man. No, Tariq was not wrong in what he said. Tariq was right. That dude, when that dude said, well, man, I felt like I might have got had with my mouth, all Tariq said was, hey, man, chalk it up to the game. And you took that. I mean, it's just, come on, man. This shit is just, I'm amazed at it, man. Anyway, thank you. Have a good day.